In this lesson, we'll animate our wall to appear broken during our explosion. So here's where we left off in our last lesson, and we've got our debris, we've got our bricks, and everything is colliding nice and neat. And the final thing to do is actually animate this wall to appear broken whenever this explosion takes place. So let's go ahead and select this wall here. We're going to hit P on our keyboard and hit Z to go ahead and zoom in on this area. And what we want to do at this point is actually go ahead and delete the polygons on this building here. So let's go ahead and go to our Modify panel and go to our polygon mode and just select these polygons that we use to extract our brick geometry. And let's just select these and let's delete these out of the way here. Okay, so there's our broken wall with our hole in it. And let's go ahead and turn off polygon mode, and let's go ahead and move this emitter back in place here. So let's move this over. Okay, so what I want to do really quickly is just kind of check this out, and let's go ahead and do a quick render on this. So let me hit this. Now that this is finished rendering out, I just wanted to see if we had any weird artifacting or anything like that because of the polygons clipping, and this is actually going really well together. So we're ready to go with this. So let's close this out. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually animate our emitter wall to disappear whenever frame 61 appears here. Okay, so our wall is going to appear whole, and at frame 60 our particles will begin emitting, and at 61 I want that wall to disappear. Okay, so with this selected, let's actually go to our curve editor, and what we're going to do is we're going to select our brick emitter right here, and we're going to create a new track. So we'll go to tracks, and we're going to create a visibility track. So let's just hit add there, and let's go ahead and select visibility. And you'll see that we get this dotted line that goes across here. And this dotted line is on the value of 1. And 1 basically means it is completely visible, where 0 means that it is invisible. So we're going to animate this. So let's kind of zoom in here where our time slider is at, these two yellow lines. And what I'm going to do is actually use this insert keys here. And let's insert one right here at 60. And we're going to click right to the right of that, and this is going to create at 61. Okay. Now, the one at 61, we want to go ahead and change its value to 0. And I can change that right here. So let's just type in 0. And what will happen is whenever we get over to 61, that wall is going to disappear. Okay. So let's close this out. And let's take a look at what we have here. Let's go ahead and scroll this to where our bricks have basically emitted here. So let's deselect that wall. Now you can see that that brick emitter is now invisible. Now we don't want to hide it, we don't want to delete it, because we really need that there. So we want to use that visibility track to animate this. Okay, so what we've done is we've animated this out. Our particles are coming out. And what we're going to do is go ahead and actually add in one more force just to set this explosion off and over the top here. So let's go ahead and add in a P-bomb force. So let's go to our Create panel. Let's go to Space Warps. And we're going to go to Forces and use P-bomb. So what we're going to do is just place this in here. Let's click and drag that here. And it actually looks like a little 2D bomb here. And let's just move this inside of our building here. So we're going to move this back. And the positioning on this P-bomb actually does matter. So if you make it low on these particles, it'll actually blast them up in this direction. And that's kind of what we're looking for, as if a bomb was placed right here by this wall here. Okay, so what we need to do is associate this force with our particle flow. So let's hit 6 on our keyboard. And let's go ahead and go over to our force in our event 3, where we have gravity 0, 1. And let's add another force to this. So we're going to do by list, and we're going to choose P-bomb. So we'll hit select on that. And you'll see now gravity 0, 0, 1 plus another force is in this. Okay? So let's close this out and take a look at what this looks like. And you'll notice that we're not getting anything different. That's because we actually have to set up our P-bomb. So let's go to our modify panel with that P-bomb selected. And what we're going to do is go ahead and adjust our start time for this bomb to explode. Now you'll notice that the start time has started at 30, so this bomb has already gone off by the time we start emitting particles. So what we want to do is actually have it start at 60, and we want it to have a duration of 1. Okay? So at frame 60, this is going to explode, and our particles are going to really get chaotic here. So this is looking much, much nicer. We're getting this spherical type explosion out of this wall here. So this is really setting this off. Now you could go ahead, if you like, you could adjust your chaos and really make this really nice and crazy if you want to. I'm really not going to mess around with that too much. You could also adjust your strength and really push this out. And let's kind of take a look at this and see what that looks like. And that's going to really spray out some particles. And we're going to get a little bit of collision here and there. Okay, but I'm going to take my strength down just a little bit. Let's go down to, let's do like 1.25. Because I do want some of these to collide with my plane here. Okay, so this is going to come out. We're going to get this nice, neat explosion here. And this is really cool looking. Let me just hit play on this, and this will try to play in real time. And just look at that explosion. That's really, really cool. Now, we could do one more thing to really make these particles work. We get a little bit of interpenetrating between particles, and we can add one more operator to this to keep them apart. So what we're going to do is select our particle flow source. Well, actually, we can just hit 6 on our keyboard. And we're going to add in another operator in here just to really make this nice and neat. And we're going to add in a keep apart operator. Now you'll see automatically you're seeing these particles are beginning to try and stay away from one another. Okay, so now with that in there, let's go ahead and close this out. And let's play this. And we'll see that explosion. And those particles are staying apart from one another. And it's just going to be really nice and neat. Okay, alright, so let's go ahead and actually unhide all of our geometry here. So let's do unhide all. And we have our smoke particle system, we have our fire particles, and we could actually go ahead and hide our particles that we have, like our brick and our fire geometry. So let's right click and hide those. We don't need those in our scene. And let's go ahead and go to our views and viewport background and show background. And I'm going to hit C on my camera, or on my keyboard, to go to my camera view. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just render this animation out. And what I'm going to do is go to my render setup, and I'm going to do active time segment. And I'm going to make this kind of small. I'm going to go to 320 by 240, just because this might take a little bit longer. So I just want to make this a little bit smaller. You know what? Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and pause the video. So I'll go to 640 by 480. And I'm going to set up my render output for this animation file. So I'll go to Files, and I'm going to just put this in my render output and call this Particles. Give it a AVI file format, and we'll hit Save. And I'm just going to stick with my DV video encoder and hit OK. So here we have our animation playing, and you'll see that we have all of our different particle systems in this animation. We have our smoke, our fire, and our explosions. Now, what I like to do at this time is go ahead and inspect my animation, and if something isn't quite right, I'll make the necessary changes, and I would really encourage you to do the same thing. Well, that wraps up this course on particle flow. So throughout this course, we've explored the major components of particle flow, and you should have enough information to allow you to begin experimenting and creating some really neat particle systems. Now, I know I've had a lot of fun working on this project, and I really hope you have too. And I'm Josh, and I will see you next time.